Okay, hello. Now, I've got a couple of things I wanted to talk about before I get into all of this building talk. So, it's a couple of things. So, you're more than welcome to skip this. You don't have to sit around and listen to me babble on. But when it comes down to this channel and my streaming and all of that stuff, I'm never going to be the type of person to like scream around, like shout, get erratic, energetic, all of that stuff. I just want to make chilled out content. I don't want to have to do all of that stuff. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. If you want to watch stuff like that, that's perfectly fine. There's plenty of people like that. I only like to do this kind of stuff where it's just chill, you learn a thing or two, or I'm doing some random weird stuff. But yeah, if you like that sort of thing, then feel free to subscribe, so you can see when I post. But if not, then that's perfectly fine too. But I just wanted to put that out there because I know I'm quite a calm person, and to be honest with you, I work full time, and I put videos out after work when I can. So I'm not going to be that type of crazy, energetic type of person. Alongside that, I wanted to say the past couple of videos I've been making them and editing them with a really poor software. I've recently gone and gotten myself a new piece of software. Hopefully, as I'm sure a lot of people have seen the issues with some of the past videos and the editing on it, a lot of stuff got missed or left in or wasn't edited correctly, because to be honest, the software was not very good. That's why I've kind of ditched that now and gone to a new one. So hopefully that stuff doesn't happen again. I know in my most recent video with the viewing cage, which I will actually be talking about today, that video had a very weird still frame for a while that got completely missed because the old editing software is very weird to use. But regardless of any of that, I'm going to stop babbling on and stop waffling on and actually get into it. So this is just some of the things I was going to show today. Try and I'm basically just showing off some of the building techniques that you can do, and hopefully people will get a little bit, even if it's one thing that gives you some inspiration to either build or interpret, or gives you an idea. Just wanted to put this out there as building, even though it is quite limited. We don't have a crazy amount of stuff when it comes down to building. You can do a surprising amount with what we have. So for instance, I designed this like snake scale type wall. I find that it looks quite interesting. I quite like it. I'm sure there is something else I could do to this to make it look a little bit better, but I mean, with a little bit of color or something, it kind of goes a long way. Now, another thing is glass. Now, glass is quite an interesting one. You can make some pretty cool patterns with it. So you can either use triangles like this and make a very nice, clean, straight path. You can do it in spirals. You can do it in straight lines. You can do it in all sorts of different ways. In my base later, I'll show you my one. I just have a pretty basic cubed style, but the triangles are really easy to make. All you have to do is have, so whichever direction you want to go, you want the flat face of the triangle facing it. So if I want to go this way, I'd want this triangle facing that way. And then you just stack the triangles on top of each other like this. And then you have that sort of straight color effect, which I think is really interesting. I think it's a really cool idea, and I think there's a lot of different things that you could probably do with this, to be honest. You could keep it all one color and add like stripes like that. You can do all sorts of things. Now, I know a lot of people watched my previous video about the floating viewing cage, and I thought I wanted to go in more detail about it, because I know in that video the editing was crap, my explanations were crap, and I just wanted to explain a little bit better and give a better build, a more efficient and easier build as to how to get this to work. So how it usually goes is, let's say now you wanted a raised viewing cage like this, and you wanted to try and access it from underneath. So most people would end up doing something like this, and then breaking that, and then, oh no, the viewing cage is broken. Because like most things in this game, such as the altar, it's called an altar, right? I think it's called an altar. But yeah, with this, these pillars are completely aesthetic. The only thing actually supporting it is the central part. So if you wanted to make something like this, this is relatively easy to do. It's the exact same way as I built the viewing cage, except you need glass or something in the center to actually support this bit. Whereas with the viewing cage, for some unknown reason, the stairs act as a like fake support. So when you break them, the game doesn't really know what to do. So the updated version of that build is as follows. You put a staircase in the middle with pillars on either side. You put squares going all the way around. Come up here, place that right there, just so you can have an angle to actually place this bloody thing down. And then place the viewing cage down, let it build, and then be very careful, but then go around breaking all of the squares on the outer edge. And then that's it. Now you can break the center bits, and it's completely floating. Not sure as to why this works, but now what you can absolutely do is build around it. This is just an example of me showing that you can actually build around it. You can do all sorts. The only thing that you actually can't do is build underneath it. More specifically, you can build stairs, but you can't, let's say, put like stairs on top of the floor or anything like that, as the viewing cage's floor counts as a floor, so obviously it would be like overlapping another floor. Okay, and then the last thing is going to be stacking tables to get floating conveyors, floating mining facilities, everything like that. You're going to need the table set, which is at level 12, the tidy table set. Stack them on top of each other. All you have to do is just have it up against a wall, hold alignment mode, and then it just stacks on top of each other like that. From there, you can break the wall, and then you can use more or less anything. You can have the ancient workbench, the relic recyclers, the conveyors, anything like that, and then you just put it on top. You may need to get a little bit higher up. So sometimes you need to get a little bit of height to it. You hold alignment mode, and then you can just put them on top like so. Wait for them to build it, and then you can break the tables, and then you can put the other one then underneath like that. This works with the ancient workbench, any assembly line, all the workbenches I believe, and it does also work with the ancient material synthesizer. The only way you can do it with this one is having the wall, so start it off, put the wall here, and then once you've put it full high, you put that on top, and then you have to bring it one square forward and then put it on the floor. It does not allow you to kind of put them on. The hitbox is a bit weird and janky, but that's another really easy way to save space in the base, to be honest. Is what I recommend people do. Okay, and then finishing everything off is going to be the aquatic construction kit. Now, you get the aquatic construction kit, I believe they've changed it now to level 23. Now, a few issues with the aquatic construction kit early game is you don't get attacked. So if you are trying to collect barrels early on in the game, I wouldn't build on the water just yet. I'd wait probably until about level 40, give or take. to actually build on the water, as gaining them pals is quite helpful, especially when trying to progress, as you don't usually end up getting some of the pals until a little bit later on. But as soon as you get to level 40, I'd highly recommend building on the water, as it's probably the flattest ground you can get. There is some other areas which are really good to build, so these two islands are two really good spots. There is another one down in the early game. I'd recommend, if anyone is starting off, to build down here. There's a massive open flat area, and you are right next to the Grizzball spawn as well, so you can go and catch him at level 30, which will be helpful. There is some more over here, and the other spots would be over in the desert, but they are a little bit higher levels. Now, as for building stuff in your base, for reference, this crane took me about 2 hours to try and figure out how to actually build it. It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, because obviously we are limited with resources in this game when it comes down to building stuff, and it's the same with this giant eye of Sauron right here. This took me, give or take, about 5 hours to try and figure out how to put together. It's still not perfect, but it did take quite a while. But I'm just putting these in as reference points as to what you can actually build. Now, alongside all of them, little small details in the base goes a long way. So obviously paint makes the bases look a little bit more flashy, as well as little tiny designs like this, and the arrows kind of add a bit more flair to it as well, just so people are aware on how to actually build these kind of designs. These are forced by angles, so you have to have a pillar and then put upside down triangles facing inwards, and then normal triangles on top like that, and that creates that kind of shape. Like I said, obviously we are kind of limited with what we have to work with, but you can make all sorts of designs. Now, another thing would be as well, that I don't know if people actually know, is you can actually build around your ranches. For me, I've made like a little barn around the ranch. All of the guys collect at the bottom, and make sure you put your chest on the inside as well, right next to it, just to make the transport a little bit easier. Then this is going to be the one of the breeding base designs that I have. This is pretty basic, it's just pillars going up either side and a roof on top, but I quite like the look of it. It's quite open, it's quite roomy, and you can easily access everything from it, to be honest. And then there's the second version of the base, which I actually have on my channel, which is the second closed off breeder base. This is more for like dedicated servers, so people don't come in and just take your eggs. But I mean, I keep this here because I quite like the design anyway. It's fairly simple to make. I do have a video basically going into detail on how to build it. The hardest part is going to be the foundations, but everything else is extremely easy and quite quick to build. Now, on top of that, if anyone is interested in what colour I have on the ground, obviously this is gold, but it's a bit of an annoying colour to actually get really good and perfect. So this is the code for the gold colour. You do have to use it on metal foundations in order to actually get it that shiny look. As on glass and any of the other materials, it doesn't quite look the same. And I do recommend people use metal structures a bit more. It does give it a very nice shine for most of the colours. I know some of them are quite dull, but with gold, it's absolutely perfect. Gives a nice glimmer. It's a nice, really nice shine to it. I personally really like this. If you want a nice grey colour, this is the code for that. And then for a very nice and cool purple, this is the code. Now, I'm not even quite too sure what you would actually call this colour, but this is the code for this greenish blue colour. I really like it. I think it's turquoise. I could be completely wrong. I'm not too good with colour names. And then for a candy red color, it's going to be this code. And then for anyone who likes green, this is quite a nice green color. This is the code for that. And then for quite a nice sky blue, this is the code for that. Now, the reason why I am putting in these paints, as to be honest, a lot of the paints are kind of a pain to get them perfect. So when it comes on the paints, if you just max everything out, give it that, it's very overpowering. Now this is a nice blue. During the daytime, this is going to be glowing blue. You're not really going to be able to see it full properly. The shine and everything is quite bright, and it gets a bit much. But by all means, if you would like, just make your own color. But I thought I'd put that in there, as getting color gradients like this can be a bit tedious to find like the perfect slider on, you know, what kind of color you want. I actually quite like that blue as well, to be honest, so that's the color gradient for that, yes, as well.